The naked man looked interested. Really? No, cried Paris. They were designed to be dipped in champagne and not to go anywhere near anyone's genitals. He looked down at the chorizo. No offence. None taken. Can I try one? If you like. Paris added a sprinkle of powdered sugar and nudged over one of his better evened biscuits. But they really are better with champagne. Or, suggested Morag, in a vagina. Most things are. She paused. Except Mars bars, because the batter comes off. The naked man crunched appreciatively. I'm game if you are. Is it okay? Paris didn't quite wring his hands, but he moved his hands in a singular direction. If we don't make my biscuit rose de Reims into a sex thing, I have childhood memories of these. Morag fixed him with an affectionate glare. Oh, I bet you did. You probably had them in your packed lunch next to your caviar sandwiches and your squeezy box full of Dom Perignon. Paris tried to glare back, but he didn't have a face for glaring. He suspected he probably looked like a mildly upset sheep. I did not have a squeezy box full of Dom Perignon. But you did have caviar sandwiches? The problem with being baited was that the bait would just sit there wriggling until you bit on it, and Paris couldn't stand to have something sitting there wriggling. You don't put caviar in sandwiches. Well, Morag finished triumphantly, I wouldn't know, because I'm not a posh bastard. To be fair, said the naked man apologetically, you must be a bit of a posh bastard, because you live in a fancy flat in central London with a man who makes biscuit rose de Reims. Morag put her actual hands on her actual hips. How fucking dare you? I'm as common as fucking muck, and fucking proud of it. The closest I got to fine wine when I was growing up was a Capri Sun that had been left by the radiator. The flat's his. She jerked a thumb at Paris. I just rent a room off him with money that I don't have and he doesn't need. The rent had, in fact, been a bit of a sore point when they'd first started sharing, because it had felt weird to Paris that Morag was technically paying more to live there than he was. I said you didn't have to. And I said I've never been a freeloader in my life and I'm not going to start now. Morag had guests over fairly often, something that Paris at least semi-appreciated, since otherwise it would have just been her, him, and a skittish Russian blue that a long-since forgotten whim had led him to name Nathan Aferuarton, and so he was fairly used to seeing the look of confusion he was currently seeing. And how, the naked man asked, did you two meet exactly? It's a long story, said Morag, at the same time Paris said, at university. Morag considered this for a moment. Okay, so it's not that long a story. Basically, I spent the whole of first year listening to people going, what's up with that weird Paris guy? He never talks to anyone and lives alone in a big mansion like he's Norma fucking Desmond. I talk to people, protested Paris. Hello, and yes, you can borrow my pen, are not talking to people. Anyway, the point is that I wasn't going to let some lanky Sassenach scare me off with his "oh, I'm so aloof" routine. So I pinned him down after lectures one day and asked if he wanted to fuck me hard in the toilets. And he said, actually, I'm gay. And I said, okay, do you want to get coffee then? And we've been friends ever since. Then in second year, I asked if he wanted to live together, so he'd look like less of a lonely wee loser. And here we are. From the way the naked guy was peering around, there was still something about the arrangement that wasn't quite making sense to him. Probably it was the fact that while we met at university and she felt sorry for me was a reasonable explanation for why Morag and Paris were living together.